Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I think I got the number right. Yes, I did. Welcome to Wrestlescope 121. Tonight we are talking about Logan Paul. That's right. Logan Paul, who teamed with The Miz at WrestleMania, has now officially signed a WWE contract, and he is now WWE. He is I'm guessing a full-time performer with WWE now. What does this mean as far as how many appearances is he going to make? What kind of a deal it is? What are the plans for him? We don't know. The details have not come out about what kind of a contract he has. If he's going to be just on a certain number of appearances, if he is a full-time superstar, what the story is, but he is no longer on an appearance-by-appearance basis. He has signed a WWE contract. Now, I've not seen any confirmation from any of the big wrestling talking heads as to the details of this contract. I'm sure that will come out in the next day or two here. We may even hear something about it on SmackDown tomorrow night. We shall see. But obviously, it is very apparent now that we are going to get Miz versus Logan Paul at SummerSlam. And there are more things planned for the social media superstar. Are you happy to see him sign a WWE contract? I'll openly admit, he impressed the heck out of me at WrestleMania. He really did. He got out there. He obviously had been putting in the work, and he knew what he was doing out there. But does this justify a contract for him? And now, when we talk about it, he is taking the spot of another talent. Now, WWE is in a situation with Cody Rhodes out and Randy Orton out and so many other things that they are lacking some big star power. And Logan Paul brings that mainstream star power to the product. But is that what they need right now? Yes, going into the biggest show of the summer, if you want extra eyes on the product, this isn't a bad thing. But moving forward, moving past SummerSlam, how are they going to utilize him? What are they going to do with him? What other feuds is he going to go into? You've got to put him in the ring with guys that can be trusted. Miz, for as long as he has been in the WWE, is one of those guys, one of those performers that you can trust, that is going to take care of whoever is in the ring with him, whether it's partner or opponent, has the abilities to carry somebody if need be. But quite honestly, if you look at it, that number of talent that are available like that in WWE right now are pretty few and far between. Miz, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Randy Orton. I'd even put Edge into that category. But who else could really be those trusted people, those trusted veterans that could help out a talent? I don't know how I feel about this. I'm torn on how I feel about this situation with Logan Paul. I think WWE's hand has been forced here because, again, like I said, with the injuries, with the lack of star talent, that's why they pulled the trigger on bringing Brock Lesnar back. They didn't have a choice. They had to. And I think they were in the same situation with Logan Paul. They were going to bring him in regardless for a match with The Miz, but now signing him to a contract, it's really an indictment on WWE not doing a good job of building up stars. They have not done a good job. We'll see how this all plays out. We'll see what ends up happening after SummerSlam with Logan Paul. That is going to be an entertaining match. Without a doubt, Logan Paul versus The Miz is going to be an entertaining match. It will be the surprise match of the show. Quite honestly, it could end up being the best match of the show, to be perfectly honest. Not knowing what we're looking at. We still have Money in the Bank this weekend. Michael, I'm doing okay. As you can tell, my voice still is not 100%. And I'm a little bit worried going into this weekend with Money in the Bank predictions. And obviously, if my voice stays like this, I am not going to be able to do a Wrestlescope Weekly this week. So we shall see. But glad to see you in here as always. Marcus, good to see you on Instagram. My day was good. Yep, I'm chilling at home. My wife went out to a movie with one of my daughters. And kind of like you, you're not going anywhere this weekend. We're not doing anything either. My son and I are working on Saturday all day. Sunday, we've got church, and I'm probably going to be doing some work. And then for the 4th of July, I don't know. I really don't know at this point. The plans we were hoping for fell through. Hello, Lucas. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. The other bit of news, we talk about a signing, and now let's talk about another potential AEW talent that could be leaving. As you noticed, and there has not been a confirmation as of yet, but during Blood and Guts on Wednesday night, Santana was injured early on in his appearance. It appears to be a knee injury. But there is a rumor going around, and this comes from Ringside News. There is a rumor going around that he may be leaving the company altogether soon. He was one of the first big signings that they got, but there's a lot of speculation that he is looking to leave AEW. He said back in April on Twitter that he had 126 days. And reportedly his contract comes up around the 1st of September, so right before All Out. In another instance, of course, according to Wrestling Inc., Ringside News, he tweeted soon. Now, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select speculated that one of the reasons that he wants to leave is because of Ortiz, his tag team partner. SRS pointed out that there may be issues between the two and that they really maintain their distance during in-ring segments, which I'll have to take a look at some segments and see what is going on with that. While Santana and Ortiz have been in tag team matches, Santana has been going for bookings outside of AEW by himself. And there's no official word on the matter, but this injury, that may be the last time we see Santana in AEW. Now, this one, I don't know how big of a loss this would be. Because quite honestly, Santana and Ortiz, ever since the breakup of the Pinnacle, have not been, not the Pinnacle, the Inner Circle. They have not really been featured much as a tag team. They haven't. And they never really got to where they could have been as a tag team. And if this is the case that Santana is leaving, I think Ortiz will stick around. I think AEW would keep him around. But would they bring in somebody else to tag team with him? Or would they let him go off to be a solo star? No, I'm not talking about Tito Santana. I'm talking about Santana, one half of Proud and Powerful. Lucas, I don't know. Obviously, if their contract expires, there is no 90-day. And AEW doesn't just release talent. So I'm not sure. I really don't know. But could they possibly bring in maybe somebody that has that LAX connection? Homicide's floating out there in NWA as the the NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion. Though, would Discovery, Time Warner want a wrestler by the name of Homicide on their television? Probably not. No offense to the talent, but the ring name, not that good. What about Supermax? What is going on with Hernandez? For a while, he was in Impact. Gonna take a look here. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any recent tweets about Supermax. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything at all. So I know he's still floating out there. If he's still the Supermax from, good grief, 3-4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I'd want him in AEW in a heartbeat with Eddie Kingston. Absolutely. But yet this is just another one of those original first-year AEW signings that is probably going to be going to the wayside. And this is to be expected now. We're going to be seeing a lot of this now in the next 3 to 6 months. We're going to be seeing a lot more names quietly going away. But we'll see. Obviously the most recent ones were Stu Grayson and Alan Five Angels from the Dark Order. Again, I'd have to take a look and see. I may have to research a little bit on who has contracts coming up soon. No, Toxic Attraction is going to get earmarked for the main roster very soon. Once they figure out what they're going to do with the Women's Championship and with the Women's Tag Team Championships in NXT, once Toxic Attraction lose those, they are coming up to the main roster. And Gigi Dolan is going to get pushed heavily. Though, I'll tell you, don't be surprised if she is forced to change her hair color. I could see, as soon as she comes up to the main roster, I could see them forcing her to change her hair color because it would look too much like Becky Lynch. And they don't want that comparison. Oh, excuse me. But no, I don't see her, at least not in the next couple of years. To what color? Who knows? Because think about it, they would probably change the overall gimmick. They would not be Toxic Attraction coming up to the main roster, because you notice now, anytime somebody comes up from NXT, whatever they did in NXT it's completely forgotten about. You know, nothing is canon. Everything gets forgotten about. They do it with everybody now. There's nobody that's safe from that. I mean, they did it with Karrion Kross. You know, Tommaso Ciampa is really the only one they haven't, but they don't reference what he did in NXT. I mean, I don't even know what the heck they're doing with him on the main roster right now. Yeah, exactly. Look at Ciampa. You know, Karrion Kross when he came up. LA Knight, you know, the former Eli Drake is now Max Dupree. See, I talked about him, and it's not a Friday night. Doggone it. Got to get that practice in. Max Dupree. How much you want to bet tomorrow night on SmackDown? We do not see. We will not see a debut of his talent because, again, they have no freaking idea what they're doing. What they're probably going to do, they're going to hold out a little bit longer, and they're going to bring up Giovanni Vinci, the former, was that Fabian Eichner? Yeah, Fabian Eichner. They're going to bring him up, and he'll be the first one. Yeah, Karrion Kross became Kinky Cross. That's right. All right, so the plan right now is to do Money in the Bank predictions tomorrow night at 8:30 Central Time. So the last half hour of SmackDown. Because again, I don't want to go head to head with Rampage. I don't care about SmackDown. That is the plan right now. Because I'm holding off because I'm waiting to find out who the seventh and final man is going to be in the Money in the Bank. Exactly. We still don't know who the last participant is. We'll find out tomorrow night. So that's what I'm holding out for. Let me see here. I'm just curious. Okay. So the lineup we have right now is, okay, in the men's Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Omos, Sami Zayn, Riddle, and Amanda to be named later. Women's Money in the Bank, Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch. Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Carmella. SmackDown Women's Championship, Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. U.S. Championship, Theory versus Bobby Lashley. Undisputed Tag Team Championship, the Usos versus the Street Profits. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches. Will they add anything else? At this point, I don't know. I don't think so. Obviously, you know, the Intercontinental Championship is not going to be defended because they don't have another they don't have another challenger right now for Gunther. Really, there aren't any other real feuds going on right now. But a 6-match pay-per-view. Granted, Money in the Bank, I mean, they could stretch those matches out. If this pay-per-view is 3 hours, I'll be shocked. They may try keeping this one short because UFC, isn't it like UFC 275 is on Saturday night also in Vegas? So maybe they're going to try keeping this short. We'll see. Really, the only two things really up in the air for me are the Money in the Bank matches, honestly. Yeah, there probably will be a kickoff match, but who knows what it's going to be. They'll throw something stupid together. What? I don't know. I mean, there are some very notable names that are not involved in this show. Judgment Day has nothing going on. And boy, after the big turn, all of a sudden Judgment Day has just completely fallen flat on their faces. Ever since they turned on Edge and the Ronda Rousey, the Rhea Ripley injury, they have fallen flat on their face. No Roman, no Brock on this show. This is going to be, quite honestly, this is going to be a boring pay-per-view, to be perfectly honest. It's going to be boring. I think we will still end up with a surprise, though. The men's Money in the Bank is going to be the main event, I would guess. And I've heard a couple of people say, well, you've got to have a Riddle or a Drew McIntyre win it because you want to have that babyface pop moment at the end of the show. You don't need it. You don't need it at this show. Realistically, there are only 3 true options for the winner of this match. Sheamus is not winning again. Omos is definitely not winning. Sami Zayn is a wild card, but I don't think he's going to win. I don't think Drew's going to win it, just simply because he's already got the challenge out to Roman for Clash at the Castle. They have played up the whole Riddle can't challenge for the championship, but if he wins the Money in the Bank, can he? I'm still going with Seth Rollins, though I will talk about this during predictions. I did hear a very interesting take on something that could happen that I could see them pulling the trigger on. But I think booking wise, it could be an absolute mistake if they do it. On the women's side, obviously a lot of people are saying Becky Lynch is going to win it. I don't think so. I think it's either going to be Lacey Evans or, well, I've mentioned it before. I'll bring it up again during predictions tomorrow night. Do I think we will get a cash-in during the show? The only cash-in we can conceivably get is a women's cash-in because Roman Reigns is not appearing. And the only way that's going to happen, one, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match would have to be the opening match. And 2, either one of the women's championship matches would have to go on right before the main event. I would think it would be Ronda and Natty going in that spot where you would have, I mean, we got to take a look at this here. With this being such a light card, you open with the women's Money in the Bank. You then go to the United States Championship match. Then you could have Bianca versus Carmella. Then you go to the Tag Team Championship match. Then you go to Ronda versus Natty. And then the men's Money in the Bank. I don't think they're going to leave. Well, they could leave it as a surprise competitor. And if they do leave that spot open, I think I know what they're going to do. I really do. And I'm not sure I'll be happy about it. That would be beautiful storytelling, is if Becky wins it and she fails at her cash-in. That would be absolutely beautiful storytelling. We'll talk about this one more tomorrow night. All right, I'm going to get going, everybody. Again, I didn't realize how late it was. I got started late tonight. So, again, 8:30 Central Time, Friday night is the plan for Money in the Bank predictions, unless something really weird happens. But we'll be here with that. It'll be myself. I'll have Positive Ones picks. We'll have those in as well. May have him sit in on the stream for a little bit too if he wants to. And maybe we'll talk a little bit of SmackDown while we're on before Rampage starts tomorrow night. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. As always, greatly appreciate it. And we will talk to you for Wrestlescope Live 122 tomorrow night.